Don't skip. Your soulmate secretly tested your honesty and broke down in tears when they found out. My beloved child. Don't skip, because what you are about to hear is connected to a moment your soulmate never expected would change everything. They never wanted to doubt your heart, yet something inside them whispered that they needed to know the truth for themselves. So they stayed quiet. They watched. They waited. They paid attention to the smallest details that everyone else ignored. It was never about trapping you or proving you wrong. It was about protecting the last piece of hope they still carried. They believed that if your honesty was real, it would reveal itself when nobody was watching. And then, something happened that completely shattered every fear they had been holding on to. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. And the reason they broke down in tears is far deeper than anyone could have imagined. What they discovered wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was a quiet moment that carried more truth than 1,000 promises ever could. That single moment changed the way they looked at your name, your words, and the future they had almost convinced themselves to walk away from forever. A strange silence followed after that discovery. Your soulmate couldn't explain why their hearts suddenly felt so heavy. They replayed every conversation, every memory, every tiny detail that once seemed ordinary. They remembered the times when people tried to convince them that honesty no longer existed, that everyone eventually hides something, that trust is only temporary. Those voices had almost won. But then they remembered your actions instead of your words. They realized you never chased attention. You never forced anyone to believe you. You simply remained the same, even when nobody was giving you credit for it. That realization struck them harder than they expected. Don't skip, because this is where everything begins to change. They weren't crying because they caught you doing something wrong. They were crying because they finally understood how unfairly they had judged someone whose heart never stopped choosing truth. For the first time in a long while, they felt embarrassed by their own doubts. And that feeling opened a door inside them that had been locked for far too long. Now something even more surprising is quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Your soulmate has reached a point where pretending everything is normal has become impossible. Every passing day makes the truth louder inside them. They keep wondering how different things could have been if they had trusted their hearts sooner instead of listening to fear. They know they cannot erase the past, but they also know that the future has not been written yet. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. A decision is beginning to form inside them, and once it is made, nothing between you will ever feel the same again. They haven't found the courage to reveal it yet, but that moment is getting closer than either of you realize. The tears they cried were not the end of the story. They were the beginning of a brand new chapter. And what happens next will reveal why this secret test was never meant to separate you. It was meant to uncover a truth powerful enough to change both of your lives forever. What happened after those tears is something your soulmate never planned for. They tried to convince themselves to move on, to lock those emotions away, but every attempt only made the truth stronger. Every ordinary moment reminded them of the honesty they had witnessed. Every quiet evening became another conversation inside their own mind. They stopped asking whether you were genuine and started asking themselves why they had waited so long to believe it. Don't skip, because the next revelation changes everything. Someone close to your soulmate noticed this sudden shift and asked why they seemed different. They smiled for only a second before looking away, unable to explain the storm happening inside their heart. They knew that if they spoke too soon, they might ruin something precious. Instead, they chose silence, allowing their feelings to grow stronger with every passing day. Something huge is waiting for you, because this silence is no longer filled with doubt, it is filled with preparation. They are carefully thinking about the next step, replaying every memory where your honesty quietly stood out while everyone else overlooked it. What once looked like small acts of kindness now seem like powerful proof that your character never changed, even when life became difficult. That realization has become impossible for them to ignore, and it is creating a future they never expected to imagine. Meanwhile, another surprising realization is beginning to unfold inside your soulmate's heart. They have started noticing that the happiest memories they carry all seem to point in the same direction. The laughter they almost forgot, the peaceful conversations they once took for granted, the moments that felt safe without needing explanations. All of them somehow lead back to you. They are no longer searching for hidden motives because they finally understand that honesty does not always announce itself with grand speeches. Sometimes it quietly remains consistent while everything else changes. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. This understanding has made them question every decision they made while fear was controlling them. They are beginning to believe that the greatest mistake was never trusting someone who had already proven themselves through actions instead of promises. That thought has become impossible to escape. It follows them through their mornings, their afternoons, and the quiet hours of the night. They may appear calm on the outside, but inside they are preparing themselves for a conversation they know cannot be delayed forever. The closer that moment comes, the more their heart refuses to remain silent. And now the story reaches a turning point that very few people ever experience. Your soulmate has quietly made a promise to themselves that the next opportunity will not be wasted. They refuse to let fear steal another meaningful moment. Don't skip, because what happens next will reveal why every delay had a purpose. The emotions that once brought tears are now becoming courage. The questions that once created distance are slowly turning into certainty. They have started imagining what they truly want to say when the right moment finally arrives, but they also know those words must come from complete honesty, just as yours always did. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next step they take will not come from pressure, confusion, or outside opinions. It will come from the truth they discovered with their own eyes. That truth has already changed their heart forever, and the decision they are preparing to make will open a door neither of you expected. What they are about to realize next is even more powerful than the secret test itself, because it will reveal why your honesty was only the beginning of a much greater story that has been unfolding in silence all along. A quiet transformation has already begun, even though almost nobody can see it. Your soulmate has reached the point where every excuse they once used has started to disappear. They no longer blame timing, distance, or confusion. Instead, they keep returning to one unforgettable truth: the honesty they discovered was real, and it refused to fade no matter how much time passed. Don't skip, because the next few moments reveal why everything is accelerating now. Something huge is waiting for you. They recently found themselves staring into silence, asking a question they had never dared to ask before: what if the person I was searching for had been standing in front of me all along? That single thought sent a wave of emotion through their entire heart. Suddenly, forgotten memories became impossible to ignore. Every sincere smile, every patient response, every moment when you chose kindness instead of pride came rushing back with incredible force. They realized honesty is not measured by dramatic promises, it is revealed through consistency, especially when nobody is watching. The more they reflected on those moments, the more they understood that they had been witnessing something rare without fully appreciating it. That realization has become the foundation of a decision they are quietly building, one careful step at a time. Something even more unexpected happened soon after. Your soulmate began noticing little reminders of you in the most ordinary places. A familiar conversation, a meaningful song, an unexpected phrase, or even a peaceful evening suddenly carried a deeper meaning than before. None of these moments seemed important on their own, yet together they formed a picture that could no longer be ignored. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The more they tried to focus on other things, the stronger those reminders became. It wasn't because someone forced those thoughts into their mind, it was because their heart had finally stopped resisting the truth. They started imagining what they would say if they were given another opportunity to speak openly. They practiced those words in silence more times than they could count, only to stop halfway because emotion always took over. They wanted every sentence to be genuine. They wanted every apology, every explanation, and every hopeful dream to come from the deepest part of who they truly are. For the first time in a long while, they were no longer afraid of being vulnerable. They were only afraid of waiting too long to express what had already become undeniable inside them. Now everything is approaching a moment that cannot remain hidden much longer. Don't skip, because this is where the story begins to turn in a completely different direction. Something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has stopped wondering whether they should follow their heart. Instead, they are preparing themselves for what comes after that choice is made. The walls they built out of fear are beginning to crack, and behind those walls is a future they once believed was impossible. They understand that trust is not created overnight, yet they also know that genuine honesty deserves the chance to be met with equal honesty. Every passing day strengthens that belief. Every quiet reflection gives them a little more courage. And while they have not spoken those life-changing words yet, they are closer than ever before. The next step they take will reveal something they have hidden even from themselves, and once that truth finally comes into the light, nothing between you will ever feel ordinary again. The greatest revelation is no longer the secret test. It is what your soulmate has finally decided to do because of what that test revealed. The moment your soulmate stopped fighting their own feelings, everything inside them became unexpectedly clear. The questions that had haunted them for so long slowly disappeared, replaced by a quiet certainty they could no longer deny. They finally understood that honesty is not something that shines only during perfect moments. It reveals itself when life becomes uncertain. Don't skip, because the next revelation is the one they never imagined would happen. Something huge is waiting for you. They found themselves looking back at every moment when you could have chosen the easy path but instead stayed true to your values. Those memories refused to leave their mind. Every small action suddenly carried a meaning they had overlooked before. They realized your honesty had never been a performance. It had always been part of who you were. That realization made them feel both grateful and emotional. They quietly admitted to themselves that the test had revealed far more about their own fears than it had about you. For the first time, they stopped searching for reasons to doubt and started searching for the courage to move forward. Deep inside, they knew this chapter could not end in silence forever. As those emotions continued to grow, something unexpected began happening around them. They started paying attention to every opportunity that might bring your paths closer again. They became more patient, more thoughtful, and more willing to listen to their heart instead of outside opinions. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Every passing day strengthened the feeling that the story between you was unfinished. Even the smallest reminder of your honesty filled them with a sense of peace they hadn't experienced in a long time. They imagined what it would feel like to finally speak without fear, without hesitation, and without the walls they had built around themselves. The future no longer looked uncertain, it looked full of possibility. They understood that trust cannot grow without courage, and courage cannot exist without truth. That understanding became the turning point they had been searching for. What once felt impossible now seemed closer than ever, and the distance that separated two hearts was beginning to shrink with every quiet realization. Now the final pieces are slowly falling into place. Don't skip, because what comes next will become the most important step of this entire journey. Something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is no longer wondering whether they should follow what their heart has already accepted. Instead, they are preparing for the moment when silence finally gives way to honesty. They know they cannot rewrite yesterday, but they can choose what tomorrow will become. That choice is growing stronger every single day. The tears that once came from regret have transformed into determination. The fear that once controlled every decision is slowly losing its power. Your soulmate feels that a meaningful conversation is drawing closer, one that has the potential to change everything they believed about love, trust, and second chances. They don't want another misunderstanding to stand between two hearts that have already learned such an important lesson. And when that long-awaited moment finally arrives, the truth they have been carrying in silence will be impossible to hold back any longer, setting the stage for a future neither of you expected when this quiet test first began. The journey has now reached the moment your soulmate once believed would never arrive. They are no longer hiding behind uncertainty because the truth has become stronger than every fear they carried. Don't skip, because the final revelation connects every moment you've heard until now. Something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has finally accepted that the secret test was never really about discovering whether you were honest. It became a mirror that revealed their own deepest fears, their hesitation, and the walls they had built after past disappointments. Yet those walls could not survive the consistency of your character. Day after day, memory after memory, they found the same answer waiting for them. Nothing about your heart changed. Nothing about your values shifted. The more they searched for a reason to doubt you, the more reasons they found to trust you instead. That realization completely overwhelmed them. Those tears were not tears of sadness anymore, they became tears of relief. Relief that genuine honesty still exists. Relief that hope had not disappeared from their life. Relief that someone could remain true without asking for recognition. In that quiet realization, they understood they had been standing at the edge of losing something incredibly meaningful without even realizing it. Now your soulmate is preparing for a brand new beginning inside their own heart. They are choosing courage over hesitation and truth over fear. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Every lesson from this journey has shaped the person they are becoming today. They no longer want assumptions to control their future. They want real conversations, real understanding, and real trust. For the first time in a long while, they feel ready to stop running from what their heart has been trying to tell them all along. They have started imagining a future built on honesty instead of uncertainty, where every word carries meaning because it comes from sincerity rather than doubt. They know that meaningful connections are never built overnight, but they also know they should never be abandoned because of fear. That realization has given them a peace they haven't felt in a very long time. The weight they carried has finally begun to lift, replaced by hope that continues to grow stronger with every passing day. Deep inside, they believe that some stories deserve another chance, not because the past was perfect, but because the truth was always present beneath the silence. As this chapter comes to a close, one final truth remains. Don't skip, because this is the message your soulmate wishes they had understood much sooner. Something huge is waiting for you, not because of a dramatic surprise, but because genuine trust has the power to transform two hearts forever. The greatest victory was never the test itself. It was the courage to recognize what the test revealed. Your soulmate now understands that honesty is the foundation upon which every lasting connection is built, and once that foundation is discovered, it becomes impossible to ignore. They are stepping into tomorrow with a heart that is lighter, wiser, and filled with quiet determination. The tears that once marked the end of their doubts have become the beginning of their hope. They believe the future should no longer be guided by fear but by the truth they finally embraced. And as they move toward the next chapter, they carry one unshakable realization with them: the rarest connections are not created by perfect circumstances, they are created by hearts that remain genuine even when nobody is watching. That is the truth they discovered, the truth that changed them forever, and the truth that will continue guiding every step they choose to take from this moment forward.